Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to this video. I'm Venkat and this is Just Me an Open Source channel. Welcome to this video, and this one is the second video in the Istio series, which is part of the Kubernetes series. So if you haven't watched my previous video, it's about an introduction to Istio, the service mesh, and how to install Istio CTL and the Istio CTL components on your Kubernetes cluster. So if you want to follow this video, the recommendation is you have to have a cluster with Helm and Tiller installed and MetalLB and Istio CTL on your Kubernetes cluster. If you want to know how to do that, please watch my previous video. Right. As promised in my previous video, we are going to look at how to deploy the sample Bookinfo application in our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so I'm going to search for the Istio documentation, Istio Bookinfo. Okay, Istio Bookinfo application. So that's one of the sample application. I think that one really covers most of the topics, most of the features of Istio. We can use this application. Okay, so that's the architecture here. So we have a product page. Okay, so that's our landing page. We're going to product page. All the requests coming in to the cluster will be for the product page, which is a Python based application microservice. And we've got another microservice for reviews, and we have a details microservice that's written in Ruby, and the reviews is written in Java, and the ratings microservice is written in Node.js. So this is to show you how you can integrate your microservices that has been written in different programming languages. So that doesn't matter which programming language you use. Different microservices, how to interrelate, how to do service discovery, traffic management, load balancing, secure communication. So those are all the concepts we are going to cover in this Istio series. So the application we are going to be using is Bookinfo. So that's the quick architecture of the application. We have one version of product page microservice, and we have three versions of reviews, one version of details, and one version of ratings microservice. So this is to show you how to configure traffic policies, routing policies, and so on. Okay, so reviews version 1, we've got version 2 and version 3. When user goes to the product page, they see the reviews, right? So the first one, reviews microservice, is on its own. It doesn't have any rating at all. The second version of the reviews microservice has got ratings. So this reviews version 2 microservice calls the ratings microservice to pull the ratings from a different microservice. And version 3 of the reviews microservice has been enhanced to show a little more color. So basically, the black colors are version 2, and in version 3, they've just changed the code to all red. That's it. And version 1 of the reviews doesn't have the rating functionality. This is to show you how to route your traffic to different versions of the microservices. So that's the architecture of the application we are going to deploy. Deploy the application. As you can see here, we are going to create an ingress gateway in the front. So that's your gateway. That's the entry point for your application. And for each of these service, we are going to deploy a sidecar or NY proxy. So that's the entry point for each of the microservices. Okay, let's see how to install it. Okay, the first thing is wherever you deploy the application that you want to manage using Istio CTL, that namespace has to have this label added, Istio injection equals enabled. So let's do that. We're going to install all these resources for Bookinfo in the default namespace. So we need to label the default namespace. kubectl label namespace default Istio injection equals enabled. Okay. kubectl get namespace minus minus show labels, and you can see here the default namespace is now has the label Istio injection equals enabled. So that's good. Deploy your application using kubectl commands. Samples, Bookinfo. Make sure you're in the directory where you've downloaded the Istio from my previous video. And we can do kubectl create minus "-f", create or apply, whichever you want you can use. Samples, Bookinfo platform Kube bookinfo.yaml. Okay, that's done. Let's look at the resources. kubectl get all. Okay, so as you can see here, it has deployed a number of resources: service, service account, deployment, and all those details. And down here you can see there's the details version 1, which is here. So that's the details microservice. It has got only one version, so we've got version 1. Product page version 1, so that's this microservice written in Python, which has got only one version. And ratings, it's this one, which has got one version. And for reviews, you've got 3 parts, because we are running 3 versions of reviews microservice: version 1, 2, and 3. And we've got the service, so all these microservices are exposed as a service. And the deployments, so details, product page, ratings, and the 3 versions of the reviews microservice. Okay. uh, at the moment pod is initializing. Let's give it a few minutes. So it's downloading all the required container images, and it should be ready in a few moments. All right, so everything is running except rating, so that's also running. So okay, cool, we are good now. Control C, what else we need to do? We have deployed the application, but we can't access it. We need to do an extra step to make it accessible inside the cluster as well as outside the cluster, from outside the cluster. If you're running, okay, so that's what we have done. Let's verify if everything is running okay. kubectl get service. All right, kubectl get pods. Everything is running. We are good now. And to confirm that the Bookinfo application is running, send a request to it by a curl command from some pod. Okay, let's look at that. kubectl get pod. So the idea here is to see if the application is actually running. So from here we can see that the pods are all running, but actually we need to test whether the application is running. So at the moment we can't access this application from outside the cluster, but we should be able to access the application within the cluster. So I'm going to log into one of the pods here and then use the curl command to access the product page. Let's see if it works. kubectl exec -it for interactive. Let's log into the ratings pod. You need to specify what command to run, for example, shell. Okay, so we are inside the ratings container. Which curl? We have curl, and if I do curl, what's the command? Curl product page and grep for title. Okay, let's do that. kubectl get service, and you can see we are trying to access the product page on port 9080. Product, okay, curl product page colon 9080 slash product page is the URL. Okay, cool. So there you go. We have the web page actually. So where is the title? Summary. And yep, title simple bookstore app. So it seems to be working fine. Control 3. So that's one way of testing. The first testing to see if the application is accessible within the cluster. So we've checked that. Determining the ingress IP and port, we don't have to do that because we know what the ingress IP is. kubectl -n istio system get service. Istio ingress gateway 172.17.0.200. So that's the ingress IP, and the port is 80 for HTTP. And we have to create an ingress gateway so that we can access the application from outside the cluster. So I'm going to try and access the application from my host machine into the cluster. So we need to create a gateway. kubectl get gateway. We don't have any gateways. We need to install it using this command. So the manifest is in the samples directory. kubectl create -f samples bookinfo networking bookinfo gateway.yaml. Okay, so it has deployed a gateway and a virtual service. kubectl get gateway. Okay, so we've got that kubectl describe gateway Bookinfo gateway. All right, so we have that ingress gateway defined on port 80. Cool, let's try to access this now. Should we be able to access it now? Okay, so that's there. We know the gateway URL, which is the ingress host and the ingress port. If you're running Docker, don't worry. Confirm the app is accessible from outside the cluster. Okay, now let's try and access the application. So the load balancer's IP address is 172.17.0.200 kubectl get service -n istio system get service istio ingress gateway. Okay, so load balancer and 172.17.0.200. Let's try and access it. 172.0.200. Cool. It's not working because we don't have anything on serving on the root document. So we have to prefix product page. All right, the comedy of errors. Cool. So we have signed into our application. We can access the application from our host machine. So that's Bookinfo sample, the comedy of errors. So that's a sample book, details of the book, and the book reviews, and extremely entertaining play by Shakespeare. Okay. So as you can see here, there are no ratings, which means if we go to our Bookinfo application, so there are no ratings means it's using the version 1 of the reviews microservice. So it is load balancing between these three versions of the reviews. So I can show that by refreshing the URL. So when I refresh the URL, the request will be load balanced between these three microservices, version 1, version 2, and version 3. Let's check that out. Okay, refresh. Okay, so now it's all red, which means it's version 3 of the ratings, of the reviews microservice. Now it's version 1. Now it's version 2 because all black. Version 3, version 2, version 1, version 3, version 2, version 1. So that's the load balancing. So now the default policy is to allow traffic to all the versions of the microservice on a round robin fashion. So we are going to use this Bookinfo sample application to explore the traffic routing policy. So in the future videos, we'll be sending traffic to a particular version, for example, based on a request header. So if a request is coming from a particular browser agent like Android or Firefox or mobile agent or whatever it is, and direct the request to a specific version of the reviews microservice, or if a request is coming from a specific person, direct the traffic to a specific version of the microservice, and all sorts of traffic management. We are going to look at that. So at the moment we have deployed a Bookinfo sample application with no specific rules, so it's going on a round robin fashion to all the versions of the reviews microservice. All right, cool. I think that's all I wanted to show you in this video. And if you've got any doubts or any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'll be able to respond to you at the earliest I can. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So I've done 2 videos on Istio. This is based on requests from many users. So make sure you've got everything understood and make sure everything is working in your environment. And if you've got any questions, please try to explain your problem in as much detail as possible. That will really help me to understand and help you to resolve your issue. All right, thank you so much for your time watching this video today. I will see you all in another exciting Istio video next time. See you. Bye-bye.